too. So if you can, somebody just let me know, make sure you can hear me. We'll proceed. Very good. All right. And Kareem,
I
thank
can hear you.
All right, Kareem, thanks. Got your voice, so we know you're here. So with that, let's start with asking if, and I do think, and I don't know, Chris Burkell, if we're, I think in the interest of standardization across our academy, I may start doing the Looters Dumont thing where we actually approve the agenda. I won't do it today because it's not listed as such, but Tim seems to be starting that process. Bill has adopted it. So the interest of consistency, I think in the future, I'll ask that we approve the agenda and not just have additions or deletions.
Sounds good.
So, so for today, just ask if we have any additions, deletions. Not having any, we'll assume that's an approval of the agenda. So with that, looking to see, James, do you still have it from last week? You prepared to
No,
make a...
I am not prepared.
Oh, you have the minutes too.
Oh, sorry. Yep. Sorry. Thank you. This whole losing my internet has taken me off track. So as James pulls that up, Vegar had presented us with the draft minutes for Thursday, September 18th. And I would call your attention to those. And if you feel that you've had appropriate time to review those, and if somebody would like to make a motion on those, I would gladly receive it.
I can make a motion to approve those minutes.
Thanks, Kareem. Are you comfortable making a second, James?
I second that motion.
All right, thanks, Chief. With that, do we have any discussion on those minutes? Hearing none. All approve? Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous amongst us present. Thank you, and thank you, Vegar, for keeping me in line. So with that, I would ask the chief if he would be prepared to make a motion for us.
Certainly. I make a motion that we move into executive session to discuss pending Act 56 unprofessional conduct complaints and investigations, which by law confidentially and may result in disciplinary sanctions imposed on the subject officer certification, and to seek legal advice related to such complaints and investigations. The premature general public knowledge of which would clearly place the subcommittee and the subject officer at substantial disadvantage.
Great, thank you. Do we have a second?
I can second that. Oh, doesn't he have to invite the other?
I
Folks
also
on.
invite non-members.
Oh.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Thank you. Invite the staff. If you could list
I
off
can
the staff
I can
and add
second
those
that.
folks too.
And
Oh.
invite staff members Christopher Burkell, Vegar Bow, and attorney Chris Burkett.
And Hawkins.
Director Kenneth Hawkins.
Okay, there we go. We've got more of them than us, so that's good.
And I
Very
can
good.
second that.
Thanks, Kareem. Phew. As soon as we switch, I will be back on the computer and have more stability here. So with that, do we have any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Great, unanimous. We will see you in executive session.
I'm here.
Okay, we have Kareem. Just need Sean and we're all good.
Okay.
There he is.
Great. Looks like everybody made it back. And Kareem and Sean, if you can just somehow acknowledge that you're connected and can hear. Thanks, Sean.
I'm connected and I can hear.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. I can see what you're doing there too, but we're on public record here, so have at it, Sean. Have at it. Okay, I will start with an on the record apology here with technological difficulties, which a bit frazzled my process here. So I appreciate you hanging with me. Coming out of executive session, two matters were discussed, and we do have two issues to address on the record. So in the matter of 25 VCJC 0084, I would make a motion for a no finding of unprofessional conduct. Do we have a second?
I second that motion.
Thank you, Chief. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. And then in the matter of 25 VCJC 0085, I would make a motion for a no finding of unprofessional conduct.
Make a motion.
Okay, seconded by Sean. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and that is all the business coming out of executive session. So would turn to public comment. Seeing no members of the public, move to open discussion. Any general discussion? Committee members or staff?
Yeah, guys, I just want to talk to you. I just want to talk to everybody just about, because looking at these two cases, I think, you know, what's going on with ICE and people getting taken off the streets, you know, it's going to be a lot of just making a statement that there's going to be a lot of fear out there, especially with people of color. You know, a lot of people of color could be worried about a lot of these things that's going on. You know, there's a lot of anxiety going on in a lot of places in the country because we see what ICE is doing. And it's also having a ripple effect on communities of color as well. So I just wanted to bring that up just to let you guys know, like, you know, we just have to be understanding of a lot of these things and see what's going on, because, you know, a lot of people are scared and they worry, and, you know, it's just, you know, a lot of people are just feeling real uncomfortable and real uneasy. So just let's, you know, as we're doing these cases, just keeping that in mind. All of us keeping that in mind. That's all. Thank you.
Well, and I really appreciate that, Sean. I mean, experience, that's the real value in having community members in the council and on this committee is, you know, you have a perspective that many of us don't. And I appreciate you sharing that. And I think that advice is even good for broader audience, not just us in this committee, but I think law enforcement in general. I think, you know, we've taught officers for years, part of our fair and impartial policing, particularly for white officers, is to be cognizant of, you know, people of color have legitimate concerns, and we need to be aware of that. So, and what you share, Sean, makes that even greater for a broader segment of our community. So I appreciate hearing from you and how it's impacting, you know, the community that you represent. Thank you.
Thank you.
And while we're in that same vein, real quick, not trying to get political, but I wanted to make a comment that what if we get a case where someone, this as an example, and this is, I guess, a question to our attorney here, Chris. If we get a case that someone has filed a complaint that is under, for example, asylum seeking. They're here, but maybe their paperwork hasn't been completed, whatever, and they are roughed up, arrested. Do they still have the same rights as a normal person? And if that came in front of us, how would we deal with that? If that's too loaded, we could wait for another time to get into it. But I just,
So
actually, I'm on my way right now to a circle of a conversation with folks who are asking that same question about complaints that may come in from people who are not illegal, not folks who are really here illegally, and that they really got here the wrong way. I mean, folks who have come in through the right portal, the right entries, but for some reason their paperwork has not been done. There's no judge who signed off or had them come in. What if we get a complaint that the officer, was aggressive, threw them on the ground, hurt them pretty bad, and the family made a complaint about that? How do we deal with that? Do they have the same rights?
So let me add some facts to your hypothetical to sort of flesh it out, and let me know if I'm off base with where I'm going with this hypothetical. Let's using yours as a base. We have an individual who is not an American citizen, however, entered legally, but whose paperwork is non-compliant with whatever the State Department is asking for today, and therefore they're subject to civil exclusion, deportation. And you're asking what would that person's how would we treat a complaint from that of unlawful excessive use of force by someone like that? My belief would be is that we would treat it the exact same as if the person who was uh, the recipient of that excessive use of force were an American citizen, of because the complaint is not based on the nationality or the gender or the sex or anything having to do with the complainant. It has to do with the actions of the officer. So whatever that, if that officer, um, in after an investigation and a determination by the subcommittee committed category A, B, or C conduct, it's irrelevant for the purposes of our statutes and our rules, whether that complainant was here lawfully or unlawfully. I think that's the best answer I can give. Was my hypothetical on point? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely. I appreciate hearing that. I appreciate you saying that, and it's a real question. There are people who are being. I haven't seen it so much in Vermont yet, but I know in other states that I support and I communicate with, this is happening. So I don't see it. Just want to be prepared and know where our stances are if that comes in front of us. Some people say that folks don't have no rights at all, and they, so it's
Yeah,
good to hear that.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's our because our focus here at the subcommittee and at the regulatory level is on the actions of the officer. It's not relevant to us. I mean, a perfect example is the is a case that we have heard recently where the complainant sort of was an individual who was arrested for serious felony crimes for which they could be held without bail. The fact that that person was accused of felony crimes is irrelevant to us because our focus was not on what that person did or didn't do. It was whether the officers acted professionally or unprofessionally. So I I
Gotcha.
I I I hear and echo your fears and concerns, and I'm not even going to pretend that I can completely understand how deep that goes for people who don't look as milk toasty white as I am. I'm afraid, and I've never been that before, so I can only imagine
And
what
a
it's like for
step.
others.
No, I appreciate that, Chris. And one quick step further in the hypothetical: what if
Hmm.
the police department refuses to file the complaint? So if my family member is, thrown down, smacked or whatever, and the police department is refusing to bring that complaint forward, what are the other resources that people can do, to kind of go around that? Can they come directly to us and say, hey, Kareem, I've been trying to file a complaint against this person, against this officer, they're denying me, you know. And again, this is overreach, and but this is a hypothetical that's happening
You're
around the country.
yeah, you're asking, I think, a hypothetical that I wish I could say it's not valid and it'll never happen. I can't say that anymore. So a couple things I would say. First is that under both statute and under our professional responsibility, or sorry, professional responsibility subcommittee rules. Because I was looking at them because I had a thing that I was just going to kind of put on everybody's radar. Under complaints, it says that the executive director shall accept from any source and in any form complaints alleging law enforcement officer committed unprofessional conduct. So it doesn't need to a complaint doesn't necessarily need to come from, and often doesn't come from the police department. Our, Karen mentioned at one of our last council meetings that it seems like the majority are coming from the department themselves, that they're policing themselves, which is good. But I can tell you that we also receive a number of civilian complaints through the website, through anonymous complaints, through phone calls, many of which, after they've been reviewed by the executive director, are then sent out for investigation by the appropriate agencies. Let me take your hypothetical a step further. Let's say that a complaint comes in, we deem it to be valid, we send it back to the police department, and again, the police department, for reasons passing understanding, chooses not to do an IA investigation or a proper IA investigation. It's either stonewalls or whitewashes the conduct that we see as unprofessional. Again, through both statute and our procedures, if the subcommittee deems that inadequate, for lack of a better word, I don't have the rule up in front of me, I apologize, but that basically, if the investigation doesn't meet certain standards, we can do one of two things. We can either send it back and say, do it again, do it right this time, or we can turn to our VCJC investigator and kind of set him off the leash.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and Kareem, please, feel free to represent this group from a professional regulation group that, as the chair, I'm 100% in line with what our attorney just voiced, and that is that I expect us to be absolutely blind to status of anyone that the police are dealing with. It's what's physically taking place at that time. Is the individual resisting? How are they resisting? Not what's their status, not where do they come from, not what race, what gender, what anything. And I expect police officers to not in any way factor that into their decision making. It's part of our fair and impartial policing policy. And if in fact a case comes before us, and again, the facts would have to play out, but if a case came before us that an officer was acting in a certain manner based upon somebody's legal status in the country, their gender, their sexual ideology, anything, that would be taken into account.
Right. I concur too, but the fair and impartial policing is pretty clear on what we can and can't do from a law enforcement perspective. And the investigative process, the Act 56 stuff is pretty clear of our responsibilities, what we're supposed to do. When you get a complaint like that, I have to separate the complainant's actions from the actual allegation against the officer and just focus on what the officer did, and whether or not it was in line with policy and state law. And that person's status has like zero bearing on that investigative process.
I saw that Sean had his hand up, Chair. I didn't know if he's.
Oh yeah, sorry.
If he still had it, but.
Yeah, Sean.
No, it's okay. Y'all can continue if y'all not done. I just wanted to say one thing afterwards. After you, then I'll be done.
Go ahead. You're good. You're good. Floor is yours.
Okay. Within the past, I want to say 2 weeks, after the shooting of Charlie Kirk, there was a lot of obviously we all know that no one should die like that, right? Like we all believe that, and we all know that, and we all don't want that for anyone, right? But Charlie Kirk was a guy that was basically um, talking against people of color, you know, and other people didn't see it that way. So it was kind of like the mindsets of people was going like this, right? Like there was certain set of people that thought this way, and there was another set of people that thought this way, right? What really upset me was the fact that they put the flags at half staff for this, right? And again, I'm not saying that I'm not sitting here saying that he deserved to die. We all know that. But I think also at the same time, there was a lot of people that were insensitive to what he was saying. You know, um, what upset me was that the schools had basically um, put the flags at half staff, right? And the whole state, a lot of the state did that. They put the flags at half staff, and I'm just saying, the stuff that he said was against people of color, and it was very damaging. And from that, from what happened with that, um, there was a ripple effect, right? Like it was always that saying that when something happens like that to white folks, right? Then black people always get blamed for that. And when that happened, and I've seen a lot of agencies and places did that, that kind of upset me a little bit because it showed that that there were segments of our there were segments of people that did not understand what was going on with people of color. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I think a lot of us, we all think different ways, but you know, the things that he was saying just was not, how can I say, it wasn't something that was positive. Okay. And there was a ripple effect, right? They started bomb threats to the HBCUs. And I have relatives that go to schools at HBCUs, and that to me, that was just very how can I say, it was very troubling to me to see that, So I just wanted to express that, and I'm not saying that any of us anything to do with that, but we're in a climate right now where you know we're all having certain um, thoughts about how things should be or how things should go. But I just thought I just wanted to talk about it because it really did affect me. I was really hurt for a couple of days because like I said, what he was saying just was not very good. He went around the college campuses to our children talking these things, saying these things that we all know was detrimental to us coming together. Like everybody said, come together. The comments that he was talking about definitely wasn't bringing us together. So I just wanted to just talk about that a little bit, and just to let y'all know like how I was feeling during that time. I just at that time I just felt like um, everybody in the state didn't really, well, not, I wouldn't say everybody, but there was a lot of people that didn't understand what was going on with that. That's all. That was it.
Thank you, Sean. I really I value your perspective and appreciate you sharing with us. It's certainly great concern. Tough times right now, and it's polarizing groups, and putting some officers in tough spots, and hopefully Vermont can hold steady. I think that generally, I have the utmost respect for officers. I believe they have the best interests in mind. That's not to say we don't have an outlier now and then, and we need to always be aware of that. But generally across the board, I know that certainly what I see at the academy, and I'm there fairly often. I'm very appreciative of the approach taken, that we now have Maura and oh, I'm forgetting Maura's boss's name. Help
Lisa.
me.
Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa
Oh,
Ryan.
that's right. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you, Lisa Ryan. Yes. Those two positions filled by very well qualified people who can help officers to understand, how their actions impact people and help them to identify challenges they may have within themselves and how to counter those and make sure that they don't find their way into policing decisions. So, thanks, Sean. Yes, Chris.
Thank you. I just wanted to assure Sean, and I'm sure that he knows this, that Sean, we get as a passionate guy, we understand that he sees things from a different perspective. But I think one of the things that Sean is that what we appreciate is that regardless of how you feel about certain circumstances, you take this responsibility very seriously. And all we do here is look at facts and the conduct of officers and whether they've crossed that line or not. And regardless of how you feel about certain things or certain situations or certain political climates, you always go back to what does the law say? What does the department's policy say? And what did the officer do? So you can certainly express opinions and feel other ways. I think that we all get, and we've all seen you demonstrate that your fairness in your decision making is where it needs to be. And if it wasn't, we would have those discussions, even in executive session. We would bring everybody back to where they need to be. So appreciate your comments, and we know that you're here to do the right thing.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Sean, I appreciate everybody in this group, but really appreciate the gift of your time, Sean and Kareem. You represent a community that doesn't always have, the reason to trust law enforcement. And with your help and you sharing, what it's like being a member of that community, it really helps to inform all of us and helps us, I think, to be better at what we do. So I appreciate that.
Whether we are civilians or law enforcement, I believe that we just all act in love first, and all the things happening in the world, if we could just stay focused on doing the right thing and not getting caught up in everyday politics and just be a good human being, whether you're an officer or not, that is the number one first step. And if you can't act in love and kindness and healthy communication with anybody you encounter, then you're already like sailing, you're already in the wrong. So I appreciate you guys giving us the space to speak like this and be open and talking like this. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, and I love hearing those words, Kareem, because they are the punchline in my training at the academy. I am very blessed that I get to speak to every cop that comes to Vermont. If you're going to get certified, the academy has them in my class, so I get to speak to every officer. And that's it. The term you just used is my punchline when I talk to officers about how to assess situations, how to make decisions. We talk about, is it within the law? Is it within policy? Is it within training? And I call it Trevor's principle. We add the fourth. Is it the right thing to do? And I think I'm so glad to hear you say that. And I really ask cops to focus on that. And always, not delaying a decision to get themselves or someone else hurt, but always adding that into the decision matrix and asking themselves, is it the right thing? So thank you, Kareem. I love hearing that. Wonderful. Good discussion. I really appreciate it. And it's very, very timely. Yes, Counselor.
So following what I think is a very I don't know how to follow a conversation like that with something that it will sound a little bit more trivial and dry in comparison. I just wanted to put on everybody's radar that we may, we, the council, we, the VPA might be proposing to use some changes in the PRS procedures due to a case that I won't go into a lot of details, but it will have to do with talking more about our confidentiality and our disclosure responsibilities so that we have a clear procedure that says, when we have a case that is X, this is what we will disclose publicly. When we have a case that is Y, a lot of that is done by statute, but I think having a procedure that makes it clear that this is what we're going to do, that will be useful. And I would be interested in hearing people's perspectives about it. So obviously, when we make this proposal, I'll send it out ahead of time, and I'll look forward to some hearing people's opinions about it.
Good. I think there's nothing wrong with reminding a body of their duties, particularly where they're can be rather unique to the work we do. So I look forward to seeing that. Excellent. Anything else for the good of the order?
No, that's it.
All right. I would seek a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Sean. A second?
I can second that.
Okay. We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
I have a good one, everyone. Stay safe out there.
Bye now.
Have a good one.
See you all
You
in
as
2
well.
weeks.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.